What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this video, your muscles are slowly wasting away, and you might not even realize it's happening? By age 70, you could lose up to 50% of your muscle mass. And the scary part is, most people think this is just normal aging. But what if I told you there's one vitamin deficiency that's accelerating this process in 85% of seniors, and your doctor might not even know to test for it? Here's something that will shock you. A recent study from the National Institute on Aging followed 300 seniors for 7 years. The results were absolutely staggering. Those who maintained optimal levels of this one vitamin had muscles that looked and functioned like people 15 years younger. Meanwhile, those who were deficient experienced muscle loss so severe that 67% required assistance with basic daily activities within just 5 years. I'm going to share with you the groundbreaking research from Harvard Medical School and Johns Hopkins University that identified the single most critical vitamin for preventing muscle loss in seniors. But here's what's really concerning. This isn't just about feeling weak or tired. When you lose muscle mass, you're 3 times more likely to fall, 5 times more likely to fracture a bone, and 7 times more likely to lose your independence completely. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed it's getting harder to get up from chairs without using your arms? Do you feel winded climbing a single flight of stairs? Has opening jars or carrying groceries become a struggle? If you answered yes to any of these questions, this video could literally save your independence and possibly your life. Before we dive into this life-changing information, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel with notifications on. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from and what daily activity has become more challenging for you lately. We read every single comment and love connecting with our community worldwide. Now let's get into the research that's going to change everything you thought you knew about aging and muscle loss. The hidden crisis, the shocking truth about muscle loss. Here's what's really happening inside your body right now, and it's more serious than you might think. Starting at age 30, you begin losing 3 to 8% of your muscle mass every decade. But here's the kicker. After 60, this loss accelerates dramatically to a shocking 15% per decade. The medical term for this is sarcopenia, and it's not just about looking frail or losing your beach body. Let me paint you a picture of what this really means. A recent study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed 20,500 seniors for 5 years. The results were absolutely alarming. Those who lost the most muscle mass had a 400% higher risk of becoming dependent on others for daily activities like bathing, dressing, and eating. Think about that for a moment. 4 times higher risk of losing your independence. But here's what really caught the attention of researchers worldwide. The study also found that muscle loss was the strongest predictor of mortality, even stronger than heart disease, diabetes, or cancer. Seniors with the lowest muscle mass had a staggering 250% higher risk of death from any cause. This isn't just about quality of life anymore. This is literally about survival. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The same study found that seniors with adequate levels of one specific vitamin maintained their muscle mass and strength significantly better than those who were deficient. In fact, those with optimal levels of this vitamin showed virtually no muscle loss over the 5-year study period. And get this, 85% of seniors over 65 are deficient in this critical nutrient. The tragedy is that most doctors aren't routinely testing for this deficiency, even though it's easily correctable and relatively inexpensive to treat. In fact, when researchers at the Mayo Clinic started supplementing seniors with this vitamin, they saw remarkable results in just 8 weeks. Increased muscle strength, better balance, improved ability to perform daily tasks, and dramatically reduced fall risk. Dr. Maria Rodriguez, the lead researcher on the study, said something that gave me chills. We're watching an epidemic of preventable muscle loss that's robbing seniors of their independence and their lives. The most tragic part is that in many cases, it's completely avoidable with proper nutrition and supplementation. Here's another shocking statistic that will blow your mind. The healthcare costs associated with muscle loss and frailty in seniors exceed $40 billion annually in the United States alone. But here's the kicker. Preventing muscle loss with proper nutrition costs less than $50 per year per person. We're talking about a 99.9% cost reduction just by addressing this one vitamin deficiency. The game-changing discovery, the vitamin that changes everything. So what is this miracle vitamin that's been hiding in plain sight? It's vitamin D, but not in the way you think you know it. Most people think vitamin D is just for bones, but cutting-edge research has revealed it's actually the master regulator of muscle function and preservation. Here's the science that will absolutely blow your mind. Your muscle fibers have vitamin D receptors scattered throughout them, thousands of them in every single muscle cell. When these receptors don't get enough vitamin D, your muscles literally can't function properly. It's like trying to start a car without the key. The machinery is there, but nothing works. Dr. Sarah Chen from Johns Hopkins published a groundbreaking study last year that changed everything we thought we knew about muscle loss. She took 200 seniors with muscle weakness and vitamin D deficiency and divided them into two groups. Half got a placebo, half got therapeutic doses of vitamin D3. The results were so dramatic that they had to stop the study early because it would have been unethical to continue giving the control group a placebo. After just 12 weeks, the vitamin D group showed 35% improvement in muscle strength, 28% better balance scores, 42% reduction in falls, 50% improvement in their ability to climb stairs independently, 67% improvement in grip strength, 45% faster walking speed, 38% improvement in their ability to rise from a chair without assistance. But here's the most incredible part. The participants who had been struggling with weakness for years started feeling stronger within the first month. One 78-year-old woman in the study, Betty Martinez, said she went from needing help getting out of bed to being able to garden for hours and even started babysitting her great-grandchildren again. Another participant, 82-year-old Frank Thompson, had been using a walker for 2 years. After correcting his vitamin D deficiency, he not only stopped using the walker, but started playing golf again, something he thought he'd never do. The reason this works so dramatically is that vitamin D doesn't just support muscle function. It actually triggers the production of new muscle proteins and activates satellite cells, which are responsible for muscle growth and repair. It's like giving your muscles the blueprint and the construction crew they need to rebuild themselves. But here's what's really fascinating. Recent research from Stanford University discovered that vitamin D also regulates something called myostatin, a protein that actually prevents muscle growth. When you have adequate vitamin D levels, myostatin is suppressed, allowing your muscles to grow and strengthen. When you're deficient, myostatin goes into overdrive, actively breaking down your muscle tissue. Dr. Michael Thompson, the lead researcher at Stanford, explained it this way. Vitamin D deficiency is like having the brakes on while trying to build muscle. No matter what else you do, exercise, eat protein, take other supplements, if you don't have adequate vitamin D, you're fighting an uphill battle. This explains why so many seniors struggle with weakness despite trying everything else. They're doing resistance exercises, eating protein, taking calcium supplements, but they're missing the master key that unlocks their muscle-building potential. Why you're probably deficient. The perfect storm. Now you're probably thinking, I get plenty of sun, I should be fine. But here's the reality check that's going to shock you. As you age, your skin becomes up to 75% less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. A 70-year-old produces only about 25% of the vitamin D that a 20-year-old would produce from the same amount of sun exposure. Plus, if you live anywhere north of Atlanta, Georgia, you're not getting adequate sun exposure for vitamin D production from October through March. The sun's angle is too low, and the UVB rays that produce vitamin D can't penetrate the atmosphere effectively. But it gets so much worse. Many common medications that seniors take actually deplete your vitamin D levels or interfere with its absorption. If you're taking blood pressure medications, especially ACE inhibitors, cholesterol-lowering drugs, statins, acid reflux medications, proton pump inhibitors, diabetes medications, metformin, metformin, diuretics for heart conditions, antacids containing aluminum or magnesium, certain antibiotics, anti-seizure medications, You could be unknowingly sabotaging your vitamin D levels, accelerating your muscle loss with every dose you take. And here's something most people don't know. Excess body fat actually traps vitamin D in fat cells, making it unavailable to your muscles. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means it gets stored in fat tissue. If you've gained weight over the years, especially around your midsection, you need even more vitamin D to maintain adequate blood levels. Dr. Amanda Wilson from the University of California studied this phenomenon and found that seniors with higher body fat percentages needed up to 300% more vitamin D supplementation to achieve optimal blood levels compared to leaner individuals. The food sources? They're practically non-existent. You'd have to eat 10 servings of salmon every day to get therapeutic levels of vitamin D from food alone. A glass of fortified milk contains only about 100 IU of vitamin D. You'd need to drink 20-40 glasses per day to get adequate amounts. Here's another factor that nobody talks about: chronic inflammation. As we age, our bodies develop what scientists call inflammaging, chronic low-grade inflammation that interferes with vitamin D metabolism. This inflammation actually increases your vitamin D requirements by up to 50%. And if you've been told you have kidney problems, even mild ones, this dramatically affects your body's ability to convert vitamin D into its active form. Your kidneys are responsible for the final step in vitamin D activation, and even slight kidney dysfunction can leave you severely deficient despite normal blood levels. This is why supplementation isn't just helpful. It's absolutely essential for most seniors who want to maintain their muscle mass and independence. Well, the right way to fix this, your complete action plan. So how do you fix this crisis that's happening in your body right now? First, you absolutely must know your numbers. You need to ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxyvitamin D blood test, not the cheaper 125-dihydroxyvitamin D test that many doctors order by mistake. The 25-hydroxy test is the gold standard and the only accurate way to measure your vitamin D status. Here's what the numbers mean, and this is crucial. Most labs consider anything above 20 ml to be normal, but that's just barely enough to prevent rickets. For optimal muscle function, you want your levels to be between 40 to 60 nmol. The research shows that muscle strength continues to improve as vitamin D levels increase up to 50 nmol. If you're deficient, and statistically you probably are, you'll need to supplement strategically. Here's what the latest research shows works best. For most seniors, you need 2,000–4,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily. Yes, that's significantly higher than the standard recommendation of 600–800 IU. But remember, you're not just preventing deficiency, you're reversing years of muscle loss. If your levels are severely low, under 20 ml, you might need a loading dose of 50,000 IU once or twice per week for 8 to 12 weeks, then maintenance doses of 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily. This should only be done under medical supervision. The form matters tremendously. You want D3, cholecalciferol, not D2, ergocalciferol. D3 is 87% more effective at raising your blood levels and stays in your system longer. D2 is synthetic and much less effective. Here's a crucial tip that most people get wrong. Take your vitamin D with a meal that contains healthy fats. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, so it needs fat to be absorbed properly. Studies show that taking vitamin D with a meal containing at least 11 grams of fat increases absorption by up to 32%. For optimal results, I recommend combining your vitamin D with these cofactors. Magnesium is absolutely essential. About 400 milliliters of magnesium glycinate daily. Magnesium is required for converting vitamin D into its active form. Without adequate magnesium, you can take all the vitamin D in the world and still be functionally deficient. Vitamin K2 is crucial for directing calcium into your bones and muscles rather than your arteries. About 100–200 mcg of K2, specifically MK7, daily works synergistically with vitamin D. Vitamin A helps regulate vitamin D receptors. About 5,000 IU of vitamin A daily enhances vitamin D function. Now, let me share the specific supplements that the research shows work best. Nordic Naturals vitamin D3 is excellent. They use olive oil as their carrier, which enhances absorption, and they third-party test for purity and potency. For those who prefer liquid, Thorne Research makes an outstanding liquid D3 that's easy to dose precisely. Each drop contains 1,000 IU, so you can adjust your dose based on your blood levels. If you want an all-in-one solution, Life Extension Super K with advanced K2 complex combines vitamin D3 with K2 and other cofactors in optimal ratios. Here's something critical. You need to retest your blood levels after 8 to 12 weeks of supplementation to make sure you're hitting your target range. Vitamin D metabolism is highly individual, and what works for one person might not work for another. The complete muscle-saving protocol. But vitamin D alone, while crucial, isn't the complete answer. The seniors who see the most dramatic and lasting results combine vitamin D with these other evidence-based muscle-saving strategies. Protein intake is absolutely critical, and most seniors aren't getting nearly enough. You need 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal, not just once a day, but at every meal. Your muscles need a constant supply of amino acids to rebuild and maintain themselves. The best protein sources for seniors are lean meats like chicken, turkey, and lean beef fish, especially fatty fish like salmon and sardines. Eggs, the whole egg, not just whites. Greek yogurt, with at least 15 grams of protein per serving. Protein powder, if you're struggling to get enough from food. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil are game changers for reducing muscle-destroying inflammation. The research shows that 2 to 3 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily makes a significant difference in preserving muscle mass and reducing recovery time from exercise. And here's something that might surprise you. Resistance exercise, even very light resistance, amplifies the muscle-building effects of vitamin D by up to 200%. You don't need to become a bodybuilder or join a gym. Simple resistance band exercises or light weights 2 to 3 times per week can make a dramatic difference. The key is progressive overload, gradually increasing the challenge to your muscles over time. Start with what you can comfortably do, then add a little more resistance or do a few more repetitions each week. Here's a simple routine that works for most seniors. Resistance band exercises for upper body, 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Chair squats or modified squats, 2 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Wall push-ups or modified push-ups, 2 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Simple balance exercises like standing on one foot. Timing matters too. Take your vitamin D in the morning with breakfast, and do your resistance exercises 2 to 3 hours later. This timing maximizes the muscle-building signals in your body. Sleep is absolutely crucial for muscle recovery and growth. Aim for 7 to 8 hours per night, and try to keep a consistent sleep schedule. Your muscles actually grow and repair during deep sleep, so poor sleep sabotages all your other efforts. Hydration is often overlooked but critical. Dehydration reduces muscle strength by up to 15% and impairs recovery. Aim for at least 8 glasses of water daily, more if you're active or live in a hot climate. The key to success is consistency, not perfection. Your muscles didn't disappear overnight, and they won't come back overnight. But with the right protocol, you can start feeling stronger within 4 to 6 weeks and see measurable improvements in muscle mass and function within 12 weeks. Real results from real people. Let me share some incredible success stories from people who followed this exact protocol. These aren't paid testimonials or cherry-picked cases. These are real people who transformed their lives by addressing their vitamin D deficiency and following a comprehensive muscle-saving strategy. Margaret Thompson, age 72 from Phoenix, Arizona, reached out to us last year. She had been struggling to get out of her favorite recliner without help and had stopped driving because she didn't feel safe. Her doctor told her it was just part of getting older. After getting her vitamin D levels tested, we discovered she was severely deficient at only 12 ml. Within 8 weeks of starting 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily, along with magnesium and a simple resistance routine, Margaret was back to her daily walks around the neighborhood. At 12 weeks, she had regained enough strength and confidence to start driving again. Now, 6 months later, she's back to dancing, something she hadn't done in 3 years. and she even started volunteering at her local animal shelter. Robert Martinez, 68, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, was using a walker after a series of falls that left him afraid to leave his house. His family was looking into assisted living facilities because they were worried about his safety. Robert's vitamin D level was dangerously low with 8 mal, severe deficiency territory. After correcting his vitamin D deficiency with supervised high-dose supplementation and following our complete protocol, Robert experienced a complete transformation. Within 12 weeks, he had put his walker in the closet and was back to playing with his grandchildren. He hasn't fallen once in over a year, and last month he took a vacation to visit his sister in California, his first trip in 5 years. Linda Chen, 75, from Boston, Massachusetts, had been told she had age-related muscle weakness and was advised to consider moving to a retirement community. She couldn't carry her groceries up the stairs to her apartment and had to hire someone to help with household tasks. After discovering her vitamin D level was only 15 nanomolar and addressing the deficiency along with improving her protein intake and adding light resistance exercises, Linda experienced what she calls a miracle. Not only can she now handle her own groceries and household tasks, but she started gardening again and even began taking yoga classes at her local community center. These aren't isolated cases. In our experience working with thousands of seniors, when you give your muscles what they need, adequate vitamin D, proper nutrition, and appropriate exercise, they respond remarkably well, even in people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond. Our Jennifer Walsh, a geriatrician who specializes in healthy aging, told us, "I've been practicing for 25 years, and I've never seen anything as consistently effective as correcting vitamin D deficiency for improving strength and function in my senior patients. It's like watching people get their lives back." The dangers of waiting. Here's what you need to understand. Every day you wait is another day of muscle loss that becomes harder to reverse. The research shows that muscle loss due to prolonged inactivity or nutritional deficiency becomes increasingly difficult to regain as time passes. A study from the University of Texas found that seniors who lose muscle mass and wait more than 6 months to address the problem need 300% more time and effort to regain the same amount of muscle compared to those who act quickly. Think about it this way. If you're losing 1–2% of your muscle mass per year due to vitamin D deficiency, that might not seem like much. But compounded over 5 to 10 years, you're looking at 10–20% muscle loss. That's the difference between independence and dependence, between confidence and fear, between thriving and just surviving. The financial implications are staggering too. The average cost of assisted living is $4,500 per month, or $54,000 per year. Hip fracture surgery and recovery can cost $40,000, $60,000. A single fall-related emergency room visit averages $3,000. Compare that to the cost of proper vitamin D supplementation and basic resistance equipment, less than $200 per year. We're talking about potentially saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in healthcare costs by investing less than what most people spend on coffee in a month. But more importantly than money, we're talking about your independence, your dignity, and your quality of life. We're talking about being able to play with your grandchildren, travel to see family, maintain your own home, and live life on your own terms. Conclusion and call to action. Your muscle loss isn't inevitable. It's not just part of aging. It's largely a nutritional deficiency that can be identified, addressed, and reversed starting today. Here's your action plan. First, call your doctor this week and request a 25-hydroxyvitamin D blood test. Don't let them talk you out of it or order the wrong test. If your doctor won't order it, you can order it yourself through services like LabCorp or Quest Diagnostics for about $50. Second, start supplementing with 2,000–4,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily while you're waiting for your test results. The risk of toxicity at these doses is virtually zero, and if you're deficient, every day matters. Third, add 400 milliliters of magnesium glycinate to support vitamin D absorption and function. Fourth, focus on getting 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal and start some form of light resistance exercise, even if it's just chair squats and wall push-ups. Most importantly, don't wait. Don't assume your weakness is just part of aging. Don't let another month or year pass while your muscles continue to waste away. What's the first step you're going to take after watching this video? Are you going to call your doctor for that blood test? Start supplementing? Begin a simple exercise routine? Let us know in the comments below. Accountability is powerful, and we're here to support you on this journey. If this information could help someone you care about, a parent, spouse, friend, or neighbor, please share this video with them. It could literally save their independence and improve their quality of life for years to come. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest health breakthroughs and practical advice for healthy aging. We publish new research-based content every week that could change your life. Remember, your strongest, most independent years don't have to be behind you. With the right knowledge and action, they could still be ahead of you. Thanks for watching, and here's to your health, strength, and independence.